Group D and what will be expected from Group D, a group that has the likes of Argentina, Iceland, Croatia, and also Nigeria. A lot will be expected from this group, but it is a group that has teams that have history. You talk about teams that have history, and we start talking about Nigeria. Nigeria, a team that is going to this World Cup saying that they have a beautiful kit, but at the same time, they are expected to play a beautiful football. A beautiful football if and only if the players go to that pitch and that ball actually just ticks to them.
Nigeria, I believe, is the most talented footballing country in Africa, but it has underachieved. Why? Because just like Kenya, bad politics. And politics is everything. Politics determines the price of bread. Politics determines the price of that shoe that you're wearing, that beautiful shoe. It determines everything. And once you mismanage things, then you destroy even your football. So Nigeria have underachieved. You can't understand why Senegal have reached a World Cup quarter-final. Nigeria have never. Oh, John Obi Mikel is actually the man they're looking up to. And that 2005 World Cup, under-17 I just mentioned, Messi's competition in that tournament was John Obi Mikel, and he took the silver boot with him home.
The first game they will be playing against Croatia, so also a beautiful game, but at the same time they will be playing against Iceland, and also they will be playing against Argentina. And when you talk about them playing against Argentina, it promises to be a beautiful game. Anything for them can happen. The World Cup history actually for Nigeria, they have been there from 1994. The first time they played in the World Cup was in 1994. They have tried to qualify 13 times, been there, done it but they've not been able to win it. They've not been able to get to the semi-finals, but a lot will be expected from them. And you're talking about the Johnny Obi Mikel versus Lionel Messi factor on that midfield. It is something maybe that will be witnessed again when you talk about this World Cup. You talk about the tactician. The coach is also a brilliant man, a man who's said that I'm not taking it easy. He's a man that believes in his players. He's a man that he wants his side to tick. He's a German, but he has a host of experience when you talk about the African football, because he's coached Niger, he's coached Burkina Faso, so he knows how the Africans play, and a lot will be expected from him this time out. Talk about the goal that made them go to the World Cup. It was scored on 7th October by the Arsenal young Turk. He's the one who scored the winning goal for them. So a lot will be expected from him. But at the same time, if we think about the star, they have a host of stars. But their captain, Johnny Obi Mikel, is a person who will be expected to play a very, very big role. But that doesn't say he's the only star that will be lining up in the World Cup.
No, he's not the only star, but he's the father of the team. The younger lads are looking up to him. The whole country is looking up to him. He's what Augustine J.J. Okocha was to Nigeria a few years ago. This guy came on board in that World Cup of 2005, under-17 that I'm talking of, as a creative midfielder. And then he graduated into the senior level of football. And when he went to Chelsea, they looked at him, and obviously there was a generation that was leaving, the Claudio Makeleles, and they looked and said, why doesn't he play defensive midfield? He stepped into those shoes and he sort of played well. He had a few disciplinary problems. His father intervened and told him, style up. I mean, London is a party place, and this guy was starting to get lost. Then he got his grounding back, but as a defensive midfielder. So it took away something from his game, and his lack of confidence in the face shows, although he has achieved a lot. He's won the UEFA Champions League. Yes, but initially, he was a creative midfielder, and I don't think he's ever returned to that. There's been an identity crisis in this man, and it's taken away something from him. He's got to overcome that, leave that behind, and become the father figure of the team.
What he's expected to be, because he's a captain of that team. Let's go to the 2014 World Cup, where we had Nigeria play against Argentina. Nigeria have been playing against Argentina in the World Cup, but in the 2014 World Cup, it was not the Nigerians who were able to get that win. 2-3 is what was the final score. Nigeria against England. Oh, sorry, Nigeria against Argentina. I'm thinking England, maybe because Rashford yesterday scored a beautiful over goal. Yeah, Manchester United fans will always think about England for some reasons. But Nigeria against Argentina in the World Cup, it was the moment that Lionel Messi and his charges actually were able to get that victory. And this is what transpired in 2014, the two teams when they clashed during the World Cup.